Yeah. Yeah. I know they mad for no reason. I'm holding on to change my life. Gotta move fast for a reason. I'm holding on to change my life. Huddling, I'm staring at charts until I retire. Yeah. Huddling, I'm staring at charts until I retire. Oh, 700K, I'm selling a Bitcoin. Haters mad, but they listen to this one. More profit coming to my direction. Yeah, you know me, I don't need a mention. I got the remedy, ooh, yeah. They don't just follow me, ooh, yeah. You say allegedly, ooh, yeah. You would subscribe to me, ooh, yeah. Staring at chart, drawing a line. Make a decision, you out of time. Huddling, I'm staring at charts until I retire. Yeah. Huddling, I'm staring at charts until I retire. Yeah. See on stage. OnChain Revolution. Done this. Boom.
Welcome back to OnChain Revolution. My name is Shizzy. On this channel, we cover the entire crypto ecosystem. What is up, guys? We have an amazing show for you guys today. We're live from the OnChain Hour, and today is going to be absolutely amazing because we have Bitcoin back above 114. Yes, over the weekend, we did hit 116, but should we trust the weekend pump? I think so. I think we should. I think we really should start thinking about what this week is going to bring. Obviously, we have a deal in China that is in place. You had Scott Bessent come out over the weekend and basically said, we have a deal in place, just got to get it signed. Trump will be talking to Xi later this week. They're saying Thursday or Friday to get that signed. So we'll see what happens with that. On top of that, we do have a monstrous, FOMC on Wednesday. That'll be at 2 o'clock. We find out that we're cutting it officially 0.25, which is almost guaranteed. And then what he talks about at 2:30 is going to be absolutely huge because we want to hear pausing of quantitative tightening. Obviously, we want to hear quantitative easing, but I don't think we hear that this month. I think we hear that in January. But still, getting out of the tightening cycle will lead investors into risk on. I was listening to a stock show this morning, and they just kept saying risk on, risk on, risk on. Risk on for them is the Russell, right? They go from the S&P to the Russell. For us, we want to see them get even more degen to where they're coming to crypto, buying Bitcoin, buying Ethereum. And another big catalyst this week could be the government shutdown ending. I'm hearing that, we're 1 or 2 senators away or people away from actually getting this thing finished up and signed and done. And then what that's going to do is that's going to allow the SEC to potentially start passing some of these ETFs, Solana, XRP, Doge. I do think in November, we're going to see 4 to potentially 9 is kind of what I'm hearing, ETFs passed right away. So they have this structure now that they're saying pretty much going to pass anything that is on Coinbase is kind of what I'm hearing. If you're trading on Coinbase perps right now, you're possibly going to get an ETF. So because everything that they need is Coinbase needs to list these as perps, they can potentially list them as SEC ETPs or exchange traded products or ETFs. We'll see. But really excited for this week. But without further ado, let's get the show started. Bringing my partner here as always, Mr. Yagobi. What's up, buddy?
What's up? What's up? What's up?
What's up, man? I'm starting to get a little hype. I'm starting to get a little excited. Last week was such a smack in the face when it came to pretty much anything. Anything you tried to do last week, anytime you thought you would have some excitement, you get smacked in the face. But this week feels a little different, don't you think?
Yeah, I think it feels different because, we have some positive headlines to start the week, right? The whole, there's a deal in place type of situation. We've heard similar, headlines before. So hopefully this is one that sticks because, out of all the industries dealing with finance, we get hit the hardest for some reason lately. And so we are looking for consistent positive sentiment in with headlines, whether it's doing with trade talks or infrastructure with our space or whatever. But it seems like things are heading that way. Again, don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves just yet. It does feel good, I'll tell you, to really be, in this 114, 115 range though. That feels pretty good. But I'm gonna hold the excitement back a little bit, and let's see if we can get across 120. I think that would be a really big next step.
Yeah. Well, yeah. On top of that, too, it's not just Bitcoin that's moving, right? So over the weekend we saw Ethereum go from 39 to almost 42. So I think that was a really good sign. Am I over exaggerating that, or do you think? Because I was listening to Benjamin Cohen, and he's basically saying that like in order for us to have an alt season, we need Bitcoin to run without everything else one more time. And I don't agree with that.
I don't necessarily agree with that either, because I don't see that actually being the case at all. Like, it's not going to run by itself. Maybe he means just like sprint ahead of everybody. I could see a little bit of that just because I kind of have noticed like whenever it did rebound, and I know like the percentages are a little bit higher on the east side in terms of gain, but whenever you look at the dollar amount, that's what I'm like. At the end of the day, I mean, Ethereum right now is looking pretty good at 4160, while Bitcoin is at 115 though. So I think it's on pace of what we've seen probably over the weekend, kind of heading into the weekend, because the first half of last week was not great, right? And so I like where we are. I don't necessarily agree that Bitcoin's going to just take off by itself though.
Yeah, I agree too. What he was basically saying was in October of 2017, he said no one remembers this, but Ethereum bled into Bitcoin. Ethereum bled into Bitcoin all the way up until potentially December, where Bitcoin kind of topped, and then Ethereum ran to an all-time high in January. So I actually looked into that, and he was 100% right. Ethereum was red in October, and Bitcoin was green. And he said it needs to happen again for us to have an alt season. Until that happens, he's not saying the alt season. But like I said before, he's usually right until he's wrong. And hopefully he's wrong this time. And I kind of want to see everything kind of run with Bitcoin, but actually outpace it, so we can actually have some real momentum here.
Yeah, but one thing he left off was that Ethereum bled into Bitcoin the first 4 months of this year, like pretty hard.
Yeah.
What I mean? That was a hard bleed into Bitcoin, like pretty aggressive, right? And that's whenever you had Ethereum touch $1,300, which we were just like, no one wanted to talk about Ethereum. Everybody was making fun of it. It's it's done. It's underperforming. So I don't know if that has anything to do with maybe he didn't think about that or consider it. Maybe he did and said, still, we need to go through another bleed out. But I don't think we see that, is because we've already seen an aggressive one.
Yeah, 100%. But we'll see. But let's get into today's number one topic here. And it seems to be the topic of everyone. Every conversation right now is this brand new innovation. This is the biggest innovation to crypto since probably DeFi. I mean, you can say Hyperliquid and stuff like that was a huge meta, but I don't think this is real innovation since DeFi. And what this could be, it could be something that shapes the entire world, from Netflix to the way you use, Amazon Prime membership, right? I mean, this could really start changing everything, especially when people are using stables and not really knowing that they're using stables.
Yeah, definitely. And this is really good for the space if it continually grows. And I believe it will. Because this is something that was actually created a long time ago for the internet, but it didn't make sense to do micropayments because of bank fees and all these things. It wouldn't make sense at all. With Web3 and crypto, it does make sense, right? Because depending on what blockchain you use and all these things, you can minimize that cost, right? And I know Base is one of the chains that's trying to take the lead here, really. But then you got stuff like on Solana as well with like Pay AI and stuff like that. So yeah, this is innovative, and I think this is the kind of stuff that you and I hint at before early in the year, saying, hey, look, I mean, there's got to be some big innovative type of thing that we need more utility. We need that. This is huge. This is something that can be that.
Yeah. And from my understanding, what this is, and like, let me know if I'm wrong at all. So let's just use Netflix, for instance. Some people use Netflix right now and they watch 20 movies a month. Some people use Netflix and they watch 2, right? So what this is going to do, this is going to be basically pay to play. So every time potentially I watch a movie on Netflix, I pay maybe $1.50 from my wallet. And I'm not even going to realize it because my agent, I set a balance on my agent and tell my agent, hey, don't spend more than $9. My agent's like, okay. And then anytime I go into that browser with my wallet's connected and watch that movie, it automatically gets taken out. And the guy watching 20 movies, he has to pay the extra. But it's not fair for me if I have to pay a subscription fee of $20 and he pays a subscription fee of $20, but he's watching way more than me. And this kind of eliminates that in the sense of, you basically pay to play, pay to watch.
Yeah, I think if this is something that goes into society like that, so I personally don't think it's going to be used for those type of specific situations. I think it's going to be more used by developers, or maybe if there's some sort of like Canva type of situation, something more internet based. And I know Netflix and these streaming channels are internet, but for me, I think about that, and here's the problem with that though. For me, I see that and I'm like, okay, that could be something for society, but then that could give that company incentive to raise the monthly subscription as well, because they can see kind of how much is being used on average and all these things. I just wouldn't want to do that for like my watch, my streams, but that's just me personally, right? And I just pay for the subscription. So I don't know. This is unfamiliar. Yeah, I mean, for certain things, I would do it.
I don't watch enough, right? Like, I don't want to pay $20 if I'm watching 3 movies a month, right? It's not fair. I'd rather just honestly just pay the $4.99 and just rent them, right? Because that's still cheaper than what I'm paying for Netflix now. So I do think that's where to go. And I do think your Netflix account will eventually have a wallet in there where you can kind of just send your stablecoins there and pay as you go. I think the subscription based model is gone because it's not fair to the people who don't use as much as other people.
Yeah, I think it's maybe gone for certain services, though. I don't think it's going to be completely
It's going to take time, but
yeah.
I don't think it's going to happen right away.
Yeah, and then also, like, I mean, you could say that about the gym, right? A lot of people say, "Oh, I pay a membership to the gym," but I do see it being heavily used more for API call type situations for developers, or if you're a creative or something and you need to use some sort of creative services or something, you can just use that instead of another thing too. Also, is this is the part that excites me, is if you're a researcher or you are trying to build something, right? Then you can do these API calls for data aggregation, right? I gave you an example whenever we're talking offline or whatever, but if you do stuff with like sports data, if you do stuff with like social data, you're a marketer or whatever, you can do API calls to these data services, and then grab it and put it into your AI, and then start using your AI to help you determine what does this data mean, how can I turn this into like a service, how can I market better with this data. It's going to change the game, in my opinion, for that type of relationship. And I think there's some subnets and stuff from the Tao ecosystem that will benefit from this, because now they have like direct customers for pay to play type of situation. So that's where my mind is, but I could see it getting over to like everyday people. It's going to be a transition though.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's going to happen this year, right? But I just think that it's something that, like, to me, I always look at end game. Like, what's the end game for x402? And I see it as being, that type of subscription model kind of being gone and it kind of taking its place. But I mean, we're potentially 4, maybe 5 years away from even thinking about that, because we need the banks to be able to, they need to change over from the bank account to a potential crypto wallet, which I mean, with the Zelle news today, it already feels like they're on pace to do that, right? So we'll get into that a little later, but like, yeah, I'm really excited. And for me too, it's like, I don't know if you experience this, but when you go to websites and sometimes it'll like, you'll go to this article and you'll be like, all right, cool, let me read this.
Paywall.
But it's like a paywall pops up. And I don't want to subscribe to this because I don't even know what the hell it is. I just want to read this damn article. Potentially now I'm going to be able to read that article and just pay the 30 cents.
100%. So that is something that is going to benefit that type of situation for sure. 100%. People will actually pay probably like 15 cents to read that article. That will add up for, you get a million reads, right? Yeah. And that's just one article. Right. So that's where I think the game changes in the agent space and stuff is going to grow substantially in that regard.
Yeah, it's just so cool to see a crypto and AI working together so well, because you can't do one without the other in this situation, in my opinion. But so the x402 ecosystem has the market cap of 830 million with 24-hour trading volume. So this was something from Friday at 830 million. Today it's way higher because Eigenlayer actually joined the party. So Eigenlayer now is they're actually ahead of Base Chain in the sense of basically making everything on Eigenlayer, and they changed their name too. They went from Eigenlayer to EigenCloud. I don't know if this x402 thing made them do that name, but it's actually pretty damn big. in the sense of, let me make sure I can find that article here. But yeah, in the sense of them just really, really coming forward and being the new version of it. Here it is right here. So EigenLayer put out this tweet. They said EigenCloud plus x402 AI agents, AI verify, a thread. And in this thread, they basically are saying how EigenLayer is going to be the Google Cloud and using this type of new innovation that this is actually going to help them. So you're going to be able to use EigenLayer basically as a new cloud system using x402. This is absolutely huge.
Yeah, I mean, it also gives EigenLayer relevancy, right?
Use case.
And so I think that's why a lot of these ecosystems that actually have good tech and good developer ecosystems and stuff like that, they're wanting to, like, where can we benefit by using our best kind of teams and stuff. And so this is something they jumped at, it looks like, right? They're not going to be the only one. There's going to be others, obviously. Base is trying to lead as well. So but for this, I think that there can be multiple winners in this, right? Because you're going to have multiple service providers, and what's the service fee? Well, so competition will be there.
Yeah, and I think x402 will be as big as DeFi one day, in the sense of when people say, why use crypto? Well, there's, you have decentralized finance where you can take a loan against your crypto and there's no third party. Oh, then what's this, x402? Well, this is a way for micropayments to be not destroyed by these big third parties, right? So it's basically the same thing. We're kind of getting rid of the middlemen in both situations and creating these decentralized use cases for crypto.
Yep. Exactly. And then now we have a use for x402. And that's so crazy to me that, like, it's been around for so long, and it took like 25, probably 30 years later, and for crypto to come out, and then having agents to make it work.
But yeah, I mean, you need one for the other, right? Like, that's just kind of how it is, right? You can build this invention, but you know what I mean? Like, with that, you can build a grill, but without fire, you know what I mean? You can't cook.
For sure, for sure. We got Mice Elf coming in. He says, I can see alts topping at a different time than Bitcoin. Similar to last cycle, alts topped in April 2021. Bitcoin topped in November 2021. Yeah, I know this was before when we were talking about, the cycle and stuff. But yeah, I agree, pushed off. And I think this follows kind of your thesis a lot, is like, hey, look, I mean, in 2017, Ethereum didn't really top until like late January, early February. Yeah. So that could be the case here. And then you got Barrio saying agent-to-agent commerce is the future. X402 is for the robots, not us. Correct.
Well,
ooh, what do you think?
Debatable. I think it's for both.
Because we command the robots to do it, right?
Yeah. So right now, everyone's going to have an AI agent. So we've become robots in a way, right? Especially with the iPhones nowadays. We're similar to Androids. I mean, we're at the very, very bottom of an Android stage, but we're very similar to Androids. So we have data at the touch of our fingertips, right? And now we have AI that's there to help us, orchestrate all that data into, the places that it needs to be. And I feel like, this is the second layer of us actually becoming androids. I don't think I'm really worried about, AI can take over. I think humans and AI are going to kind of like be these merge, going to merge into this new type of human.
I mean, that's crazy to think about, right? Would you do it? Would you?
Yes, right now. I want to be the first one, because if it works, I'm going to be the richest person in the world.
Would you be like Colossus and have the bionic arms and be like?
I want the arms on my back. I want
Dr. Octopus. But yeah, that's crazy to think about. Oh, our guy Courtney Johnson, thanks for the explanation of x402. Yeah, dude, it's good to see you. It's been a minute. And then, of course, our guy Stan, thank you so much for the super chat. Appreciate that, man. He says,
dude,
Lou, he's speaking of Lewis Liu here. If you haven't seen the Omnity recording that Shizzy and I did, we interviewed Lewis Liu, which is the founder of Omnity Network, and it connects Bitcoin and ICP to make things scalable. But he says from Omnity is a genius. Can the channel clarify the sit down when he mentioned ordinals? Okay, can we clarify the sit down when he mentioned ordinals? Did he say that Omnity and ICP are the only solution for ordinals because they can hold ordinals data from the genesis to current? Thanks. You want to try to tackle that first.
So it's the only decentralized way to do ordinals at the moment, right? So he didn't say it's the only way. Casey and his team are doing it in a very centralized way, meaning they control the indexers. They can edit the indexers if they really wanted to. I don't think they have, but they can. Doing it with the subnet that is actually checking each block and documenting each block, and you have these nodes that that are basically used by a whole bunch of other people, and these nodes are double checking the subnet reader to make sure. So imagine, instead of Casey checking his indexer, making sure it's right, now you have these nodes that are double, triple, quadruple checking if it's right, and then taking that data and storing it on chain. Did I get that right?
Yeah. And because they have a network of nodes, right? They do decentralize it, like you mentioned, right? And so, look, I think the ICP, they have their own Bitcoin node. That's the whole point of that Shizzy just broke down. And I feel like they've been planning this for years, and they finally said, okay, look, I almost feel like Bob was like an informant that was planted in Bitcoin 2 years ago. He's like, hey, you're one of the smartest in our group, so go over there, become one of them, and then set up the scaling solution for ICP and Bitcoin. But yeah, I'm just poking fun about that. But Louis Liu, definitely super intelligent guy. Tons of experience too. Remember Solana, EVM, all that stuff. Thank you so much, Stan, again for the super chat and the question.
Yeah, and real quick, Stan, if you want to go and listen to between, I think it's minute 10 and minute 23, I think he really talks about that inside there. Don't get me wrong, that was really hard to timestamp. So because Louis, he'd like to go. I mean, he was a very smart, intelligent man. So maybe it was just my brain not comprehending, but I think he did a good job.
Yep.
All right, let's go into why we're bullish today. So Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent says the U.S. has reached a substantial trade framework with China, potentially removing the need for Trump's 100% tariff. So we do know that Trump got really pissed off at China earlier this month, and people say that that was the reason we dumped. I don't think that was the reason we had this crazy liquidation moment, but some people are saying that's why. I just think it was Binance just effed up. But we did. We had this liquidation moment that'll be in history forever. $40 billion in one night, which was absolutely insane of liquidation. Some say it's 20, some say it's 40. I'm gonna go on the higher end of that and say it was 40 because people got wrecked, right? And not just on perps, on on their loans, on Aave and Maker. So it was absolutely way massive. I mean, some people say it was closer to 400 billion, right? So absolutely insane. But anyway, what do you think about this now? It's kind of getting cleared up. The moment that I sent everything pretty much to zero, close enough. I mean, a couple of them did hit zero. Kind of being restricted here over the weekend with Scott Bessent saying, hey, we're going to sign a deal by Thursday with China, and we're going to have everything in place before the 1st of November.
I think that's amazing if it happens. We've heard positive sentiment type headlines before with China. Didn't play out. There was always a, reversal of that eventually. So I'm hoping that stays. But I do want to go back to your kind of breakdown of that, and we don't have to spend too much time on this, but like the liquidation event, that was not, the tweet was the same day, right? So I don't think that's a coincidence, right? Like Trump did tweet early that morning about being upset, or the whole thing with China, and then that happened throughout the day. And you're right, like the response, the people that were responsible also got hit on that, like with their borrowing against their Bitcoin or whatever they were doing, right? So but now to go back to the positive side. Okay, so the positive side is this. Can we get this? I really hope so. He is planning to visit Xi in China. I think that whole process up until that point should be pretty safe, right? Because I don't think that they would want to have any bad type of energy going into that, right? And up until that, right? So I'm feeling good up until there, and hopefully they do get something done. I would love if they did it before, but at least that trip being a really positive one, and then them being able to close things up.
Yeah, I mean, it really can't get any worse with this tariffs. I mean, 180% tariff is ridiculous right now. I think we're still super high on them. And, it's funny because I'm finally starting to see, I was watching Shark Tank over the weekend, and one of the guys were like, well, now I have this 80% tariff. And it was the first time it kind of clicked for me, like, these business owners in the U.S. are getting wrecked on this, right? Obviously, we want them to build in the U.S., but when it's something where they're gonna have to close down if they do move to the U.S. because U.S. we have to pay our employees between $10 and $20 for them to actually have a living wage, and even that's super low. But in China, you can have a living wage off $2-3 an hour. So I think that's the real big difference. Why these tariffs are so strong, and why I mean, it's tough, right? Because watching that was like, damn, like he's losing 80% of his margin on this. Like even the sharks were like, almost like they didn't want to invest in it because of the tariffs.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit better than the $2-3 nowadays. That was something I think more in the 90s, but it's still substantially lower than what we can survive here. So I think it's probably more of like $6-7, which is nothing. You know what I mean? And I'm talking about like having a decent social life and stuff like that. So, but with that being said, it would obviously make things really bullish if we could just settle that. And I think about like the whole tariff situation, and they knew this administration has known that these tariff talks and all these things are going to have like negative effects on the market, because even in the traditional markets, the S&P and stuff, they get hit, but then they just rebound so strong whenever like the positive stuff comes, and we don't see the same strong rebounds as they do, right? And so but I'm excited to finally kind of move on from this. And maybe this was just a strategy, because they said no matter what we do in the first year, we're going to get so much like opposition pushback. Like, might as well just, try to get all this tariff stuff out of the way and just get it. And then we really start at the end of the year to really get things going for the economy and the sentiment for 2026. And then, have that positive sentiment into midterms.
Yeah, 100%. And like the big thing too is, the tariff war isn't as scary as it used to be. I mean, that's what really was weird about what happened on the 13th or whatever.
Yeah.
Was it barely scared the stock market at all. Like the stock market did fall going in five, but when it reopened, it was back to normal. Like it was no difference. But the crypto world, we got hit hard because Binance accidentally turned off the order book, right? Like, so there was, you know what I mean? So that's the thing. TradFi is no longer getting affected by these tariff wars, and that's one thing that's really good, because they're almost getting numb to it. So we can from that point, but we do have some big news this week. Obviously, we talked about it a little bit, but the FOMC interest rate cut is at 2 p.m. and then the Fed Chairman Powell speaks. One thing I think we need to see is when the document drops at 2 p.m. In that document, not only will it say the interest rate cut, but it'll also say if they've gone from quantitative tightening to a pause. And in that, if it does say they've gone from quantitative tightening to quantitative easing, let's just say they give the excuse of a government shutdown, then we could see huge momentum. But I don't think that's going to be. I do think they're going to pause first. But there is a rumor that we could go right in the easing because of the government shutdown. So that could benefit us a little bit here.
Yeah, that would be great if we did. But I think regardless, we'll probably get some sort of positive sentiment, right? Even if it is a pause.
Well, the tightening being done is huge, massive.
Yeah. And so not pause with rate cuts is not what we're talking about. We're talking about pause with tightening, right? And so that's the biggest thing is, getting out of that. Because I'm starting to realize more and more that like we got to be like in risk on, like full-fledged for like the alt market to do well. That's just basically what it is. But at least they're looking at Bitcoin and a lot of Ethereum as well, kind of as these more safer assets, which they would have considered all of them in the same category before this year. So
yeah, man. So Uptober, moving along here, it's finally green again. So October's been terrible. It's been probably one of the worst months for me in crypto. But it's green. It bounced back. We're officially green for October. I don't get it, but we are. Well, I don't know, man. I mean, we're 4 days away. Like I can't see us 4 days
away, but 1%. That's pretty close.
Yeah. No, you're right. We could be right again tomorrow, but I just don't see it. I actually, and you're gonna call me crazy, but I think we're up 7% going into Saturday. I really do. I think people are going to be gearing up for November. It might be the first week of November that we really start to move up, but I think it's going to be these next couple of days. I think there's going to be a lot of catch up happening here.
Yeah, I wouldn't be too shocked, honestly, if that was the case, right? Because we do have, we have 4 days left. It looks like we're starting to go in a direction we all like. Can we finish? Can we finish? That's the big question. And the last day of the month would be
Friday,
when
right?
is yep, Friday. Friday. So, you know, I kind of don't like that it's on a Friday, but it is. So, look, if we get to if we who knows? Bitcoin can move right today from 115 to 122. We've seen it happen, So if we're in, between 120 and 123 range on Friday, even if we have a pullback, we're going to probably see that closer to like 4%, 5% increase, I think.
Yeah, I actually love the fact that it's Friday. We can start Monday fresh, right? Fresh
Sure.
Monday, fresh month. You know what I mean? How we get into the Santa Claus rally maybe starts on Monday. Honestly, right? It normally starts like the second week of November, but I feel like October's been so manipulated to the downside. I feel like we can have an early Santa Claus rally that could lead all the way to a potential January. I mean, we could see 2 months of the most bullish bull market we've seen, maybe cool down in January and start really picking back up in February and March and April before it's all over. That's kind of what I'm seeing. I'm seeing potentially Bitcoin peaking in January and then, altcoins peaking in April.
Could happen. I mean, we've seen crazier stuff.
100%. All right. So gold, this is another really good sign for crypto. It's been falling off a cliff here, nearly down 3% on the day. It did have a little bit of a bounce back so far, but gold has fallen off a cliff here, man. Remember when people were standing in lines for this double top pattern up here? Standing in lines to buy gold can now get it $400 cheaper today at $399. Do you think this run for gold is over? It did break all trend lines. It does look like it's going to be dropping. I think we head back down to 35, but what do you think?
Sure looks like it. I wonder what the percentages of the double top success rate, because I feel like once you start to turn that corner on the second hump, it's like guaranteed almost,
Yep.
right? Like, goodness gracious, look at his double tops.
Yeah. Well, look at Bitcoin. Look at Bitcoin's double top from the last cycle, right? Let's just go to the weekly. I mean, again, if Bitcoin finished with that double top pattern last cycle, I mean, look at that. I mean, that's again, you know what I mean? That's the definition of a double top.
Yeah. And gold is definitely showing that it's selling down, at least on the hour chart that you showed, pretty aggressively.
Yeah.
Does it flow into Bitcoin? Because we thought that it was doing that last week, and I think some of it did. And then we saw a pretty stark reversal, I think, towards the end of or maybe middle of the week. Maybe the second day, maybe Tuesday, Wednesday. So we'll see. If the gold is going down like that, let's see how aggressive Bitcoin can go to the upside.
Yeah, I think it's time for Bitcoin to get aggressive. There's a lot of big news right now as well. Let's kind of get into some of them. So Zelle, a payment solution will soon enable stablecoin transfers, institutional transactions. So at first, it's going to start off from bank to bank. So using Zelle, a bank like PNC can transfer to a bank like Wells Fargo, right? Or so on and so on. So any bank, so JP Morgan can go to BlackRock's now, all using Zelle, which is this proven system that banks are kind of using today. And in a sense, but now you're going to be able to use stablecoins on these crypto rails. And eventually, let's just say, for instance, my mom has a bank account and her bank account allows Zelle. I think PNC accounts allow you to have Zelle. So I'll be able to send my mom's account $1,000 to help her out in a tough situation in stablecoins, and it goes into her Zelle account, which then translates to translates to cash on the other side. So her bank account just fills up, just the same way if I would send her from my bank account to her account using Zelle, it just shows up as cash immediately. And I think now I'll be able to send her $1,000 in stablecoins, and basically her account will just top up.
So will her bank account be like how it is now, to where it shows $1,000 more?
Yeah, so they're going to use a third party, and that
Gotcha.
third party is going to be some type of crypto company. So I'm basically it'll give me, like, I'll tell her, hey, give me the crypto address. She'll go into her Zelle account. It'll say crypto address. She'll copy it and send it to me. I'm sending it there, and then they are actually just using Zelle on the back end to add to her, to top up her account. Obviously, this is something in the future. For right now, it's just bank to bank, but this is kind of where Zelle wants to go.
Yeah, I mean, Zelle is a peer-to-peer situation, right? That's the main product. Everybody uses it that I know. They either use Venmo or they use Zelle,
Mm-hmm.
right? And a lot of people like to use Zelle more. I feel like paying for stuff, and so this is a big step, I believe, in terms of onboarding the institutions, the banking institutions, right? You mentioned that earlier. So looks like they're coming on board here, at least from the stablecoin standpoint.
Yeah, it's definitely exciting because stablecoins have been a huge innovation, especially this cycle. I mean, obviously they were created last cycle with Tether, but this cycle they're being used. They're going to be in all types of ways. TradFi has actually adopted them for the very first time this cycle. So, all right, let's get into the next thing here. Kyrgyzstan launches stablecoin on BNB and plans a CBDC and crypto reserve. So this is a very small country, but it's awesome to kind of see, one, that they're starting a crypto reserve, and two, they're choosing to use BNB as the place to run their stablecoin on. And how they're going to do it is that basically every bank account in Kyrgyzstan will now have a crypto wallet, and they'll be using the stablecoin. So they're going full crypto there in Kyrgyzstan.
Yeah, I think they've gotten a lot of influence because there's like a miner community there and miner industry, right? Because the electricity is so dirt cheap. People want to build warehouses there, and they can actually profit even with the energy cost. And so I'm sure they've invested, some of their money into miners and miner companies and stuff like that as well. So I think this is, it makes sense that they're like involved with the overall Web3 space, because they're like, it's kind of natural for them at this point.
Yeah. It just kind of reminds me of, you remember the movie, I think it's Euro Trip. You ever see that movie?
Yes, many times.
Well, okay. So basically, they end up in this country. I think it was Kyrgyzstan, and they have pennies in their pocket, and they're like super rich.
Bratislava.
Okay, Bratislava. All right, but it kind of reminds me of Kyrgyzstan, where it's like a couple pennies in your pocket, you feel like a millionaire. But I just thought about that. So
yeah.
So.
It was funny because what happened with the scene you're talking about was the butler or somebody that works for the hotel got tipped a nickel, and he was like, "Oh my God, a nickel!" He's like, "I can retire," and he's like, "I quit." He's talking to his boss.
Yeah, man. All right, let's move on. So RH, or Richard Hart, founder of Hex PulseChain, is depositing ETH into Tornado Cash again. He's deposited over 25,000 ETH, and it actually is more now. It's about 125 million as of this morning, because he did add some more. But what do you think is going on here? So there's two options people are saying on the timeline. What he's doing right now is he's kind of breaking it all up, and he's going to be potentially buying Hex, Pulse, and PulseX with this Ethereum. I mean, he has over $1 billion, a couple billion, I think it's $4 billion worth of Ethereum that was from the sacrifice. If you don't know what the sacrifice was is when people basically sent Richard Hart their Ethereum in exchange for Pulse coins like 6 months later. So he got the ETH, he held it, and then 6 months later he airdropped everyone Pulse. Pulse just like kind of died on arrival. And it's never really kind of got back to the actual price yet of the original coins. So the sacrifice wallet is on the move here using Tornado Cash. And so what do you think, though? Some people are saying that he's just cashing out. He's done. He's going to disappear with his $4 billion. And some people are saying, hey, he's getting ready to launch a new update for PulseChain. And with that update, he's going to be just throwing money into this chain.
I mean, I would hope that that's what's going to happen is number two. If number one happens, then I think there's going to be like a lot of upset people, right? So I think it's more going to be the second option. But putting in Tornado Cash, he probably still doesn't. He wants to let that be kind of like a mystery or a hint or something, maybe, right? So good luck to all the Hex and Pulse people, because it could be something big.
Yeah, and a rumor of this new update is going to basically take it from Ethereum to this new, super tech that he's saying. I've used PulseChain. PulseChain sucks. It's slow, it's laggy. My transactions, I had to do the epoch thing like 4 times when they first came out. I could not get my PulseChain out of there, and I think I still have Pulse on there. I don't think it's worth much, but I put like 500 hours with the PulseChain on there, and I just couldn't get it off because it was stuck in a transaction. I gotta go actually check that out and see if that transaction ever went through. It was like 6 months ago, but it was just stuck, and I just kind of gave up on it. And but yeah, we'll see what Richard Hart does with this update 1. And potentially they're saying too is he's going to be basically paying influencers, and he already kind of started because there's a lot of influencers on timeline right now pumping Pulse that haven't really ever talked about it before. So we'll see what Richard's plan is. But Richard Hart is somebody who knows exactly when the bull run starts and when it ends, because he has, every single time, especially last cycle, he was pumping Hex. He launched Hex in October of 2020, and he did the sacrifice in March of 2021, or I'm sorry, March of 2022. So he knew when it started and when it was over, and I think he might be calling it here with this new update.
Yeah, he's gotten it right in the past. I think it was a little easier probably than this year, but but I like, if you look at the timing though, I think he probably has things that he looks for to really, probably easing is something, right? So he feels like we're about to ease, and also he's just putting it through Tornado Cash, so it's not like he has to do anything right away with it. He's just kind of preparing.
You're right 100%. All right, let's kind of get into today's crypto fear and greed here. This thing has been the most depressing thing I've ever looked at lately, and my first time looking at it right now. Okay, I like it. So all right, so last week we were at 30, yesterday we're at 36. We're in neutral is my hint for you, and my hint for you is we're back in the float, we're back in the low 40s. Where do you think we're at?
42.
Boom, right on the noggin. Good for you. Yeah, we're sitting at 42. How does this make you feel? It actually made me feel, I feel again.
Feels good. It is Monday.
Yeah.
It's the start of the week. And I think a good outlook is, hey, if we are going to end the month green, we got to have some consistency this week. So I think that's something to look forward to.
Yeah, man. All right, let's get into today's Bitcoin price action and crypto bubbles. We're going to be getting into the depths of the crypto price action, and I'm actually excited to kind of see the bubbles today.
Yeah, I am too. It is a little bit of a mixed story, mixed bag there, but I'll bring it up here in a bit. Before we get into the price action though, guys, help us out like you guys do every single time. We appreciate you for that. On the YouTube side, smash that like for us, subscribe to the channel, turn your notifications on, all that good stuff. On the X side, let's share the space. Same thing with Abstract, Kick, Twitter, or Rumble, and I'm missing one. Kick. There you go. All right, so let's take a look here at Bitcoin on the hour chart. So it looks pretty good for today. So far, at least. We are in a sell pressure session right now, but it's not too bad. That's the good thing, right? We're not like having any bleed outs or anything like that as of right now. So it's the weaker, like basically a weaker style sell pressure session that we're seeing on the MACD. We'll see if we can break this down though, and maybe start to go, into a buy pressure session, because the reason why I'm feeling okay about this right now is because we've maintained above 115. And if we did, dip down to like the high 114s, we were able to get back up pretty quickly above 115. So we'll see if we can continue that. The stochastic RSI has been down here for a little bit. We need to start to go up and cross over that 20-point line there. We're at that 6-point mark right now. But yeah, I mean, not too bad for like this sell pressure session. We do need to break this down though. And so we can go into like switch momentum over, because right now we have, a little bit to go in terms of trying to break this down. So I'm not, super confident that, we're going to just start to continually shoot up or anything like that. We do need to break this down. But the fact that we're not like having a continuous sell down is a positive thing here. All right, let's take a look at support and resistance here. At the 115 mark, we do have about a balance. It's pretty balanced right here. Below that, though, resistance comes in. So we could start to get sucked down a little bit here. And it goes to about the 114,800 mark. So, we'll see how aggressive these sell bids are in this area to see if we get pulled down to this area down here where, the volume kind of falls off a little bit, but it is more balanced. So, this is something to pay attention to, because if we start to drop down here, that means that these sell bids over here that are winning or have been winning, at least if you go back from 5 a.m. today, pulled it back down here. Below that, it is a lot more balanced. So I'm not too worried about this area. If we get to 114,800, that might be an area that we kind of hover and bounce back between 114.8 and 115. So that's something to look forward to or look at on the hour chart for the next 2, 4, 6 hours there. The 4-hour chart, we are in buy pressure right now, so we'll see if we can extend this. We have been overbought for a while, so I don't really love that. It's kind of like this double bottom, actually. Do we finish here, though? That's the thing, because we hit this previous kind of resistance area here. If you look and you go back to Sunday, right? So the 115,900 was the resistance that we had yesterday. Not yesterday, sorry, Saturday. It was sorry, this is the 4-hour chart, my bad. This was about a week ago, almost to this day. So this is whenever it actually started down. So sorry about that. This is a week ago, actually, from here. So this is interesting because we're reaching this same level of the 150, almost 116 area. And we kind of got stopped in its tracks here. So do we kind of follow through here, follow out kind of that similar reversal pattern, or do we, fake out to the downside and then have a continuation to the upside? I don't know, but one thing I will say is that this right here, I think we need to have that 1-hour chart be pretty aggressive, in my opinion, to the upside to keep this extended, or at least maintain, and then until we can get into the buy session on the hour chart. And then, even if we do it in like methodically, kind of stair step up, if we can maintain 114,800 to 115 on that hour chart, and then we can go into buy pressure and then move up, then this could be an extension. The one thing is we've been up here for a while, so that's something to keep your eye on. Also, it's kind of weird, we did hit that same resistance level from exactly 1 week ago today, and that's whenever things started to turn to the downside last week. All right, we'll keep our eye on that for sure to see if we do kind of copy this right here. But yeah, we need some upward trajectory on the shorter time frame to help us out there to sustain that. The daily chart looks okay. We are on our second buy pressure kind of green candle on the MACD. The stochastics just got up to overbought territory, so I mean we're okay here. I think really the shorter time frame, actually, in my opinion, matters a little bit more today, because we need to have a continuation on that 4-hour chart to really make this a stronger buy pressure session on the daily. Because right now, yes, we are in buy pressure, but is it going to be a weak session? We don't want a weak session, right? Because if we have a weak session, this is something that could turn around really quick. So that is what I'm looking at here. Surprisingly, I'm looking more towards the shorter time frame today. And then Ethereum, let's take a look at Ethereum. Ethereum right here, it looks like we're breaking the sell pressure down for Ethereum. So hey, that's something different, right? So it's actually kind of front running a little bit, because Bitcoin is still in this, you see here on the hour chart, still kind of a little bit more still in that sell pressure zone, but it looks like Ethereum's trying to break it down a little bit quicker. So this is interesting. I mean, obviously it's something really small right now, but if let's say that Ethereum kind of takes off a little bit more aggressive, that'll be something interesting to watch, right? What does that mean, basically, right? Does that mean that we get alts to get a little bit more aggressive first? I don't know. But yeah, the 4-hour chart, kind of same thing. Looks a little bit better than Bitcoin's, though. So Ethereum's actually looking a little bit better than Bitcoin right now, in my opinion. Last week it was the opposite. So we'll see what happens. So that's Bitcoin and Ethereum. This is the daily, kind of similar thing with Bitcoin, right? Need to have that continuous upward trajectory for today, and we'll see if we can have a strong daily chart. Basically continuation of this, and maybe we continue this leg up. Crypto bubbles here, top 100, Co AI taking a pullback, which I'm sure the co-AI people are okay with, because they've had a pull up for like about a week and a half. So it's down 17.7%. You got virtuals thriving, pulling up about 19% here. The Trump token up 7.5%. Jupiter up 2.4%. Hex up 6.2%. I wonder if it's due to speculation that maybe Richard Hart is planning something for that. I'm sure it is. You got Aster pulling back about 7% there. Let's see what the market cap is now. And the price is $1.08. Okay, still down substantially though from that $2 price point that it was at probably 4 weeks ago. You got Plasma here, XPL down 12.5%. Pi is up 11.7%. Ethereum up 2.3%, while Bitcoin is up 1.2%. So yeah, I'm keeping my eye on ETH right there, because it's definitely looking like it wants to get a little frisky. All right, let's take a look here at the top 200 tokens.
Real quick on Pi. I saw that there's vending machines or ATM machines now. You got Bitcoin ATM machines, but then there's Pi ones in China.
Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. They have some unique strategies on how to get people into that community. Yeah. But anyways, you got a lot of meme coins in the top 200 that are bouncing back pretty decent. You got Cheems up 7.5%, Pepe up 17.8%. You got Brett up 9.4% here. Bat token up 4.4%. What else is here? We got Mix, which is a perps dex on BSC, down about 10%, 9.5% there. PulseX up 6.4 and Pulse up 3.8. So kind of riding that wave along with Hex there. Sun token up 1.4%. Eigenlayer down 2.1%. That's interesting. Expected them to kind of jump up from.
I think they had a big weekend. Yeah, I think they had a big weekend though. I'd be shocked if they didn't.
Yeah, Zora pulling back 1.5%, Merle pulling back 3%, but Merle also had a big weekend, so that's probably just some profit taken. You got Fartcoin down 3.2%, Falcon Finance down 3.3% there, and so that is Bitcoin, Ethereum, and the crypto bubbles for you guys.
Yep. Great job, man, on that. And let's get into the next thing here, which is roll call. We kind of go into your comments every single day. Don't worry if you do comment on the show and we don't get it to right away. We definitely will get it towards roll call. And we take the first comment of the day, and that first comment of the day is the amazing Chief Axel. Shout out to Chief Axel. You actually have your 4th win of the year. Congratulations to you, and the first one of the week. Absolutely amazing there, sir. And the rest of the comments, we got Webdro is here. Hydro Sapien, he said we're going to the moon. Let's go, man. Let's get. I'm ready. I'm ready to start moonwalking. Tim Baker is here. Shout out to Tim Bake. And we have Webdro again. He said BTC 20-week SMA closed below and now closed above. Binance is brutal. Any idea what he means by this? I'm a little confused. SMA moving average.
BTC 20-week SMA closed below and now closed above. Binance. Oh, saying that he's basically saying that. So the 20-week SMA is something that people look at to say we are continuing the bull run. And Binance, he's saying, is basically just heavily manipulating things. And so now we're back to good.
Yeah. ASAP Benji says, hey Shizzy, is Pups still a good buy? It started making some moves. Yeah, they get up to 8 million. I think it got down to 5 million last week. I'm not sure what the pump was there. But I still think Billy, Billion Dollar Cat, and Gizmo are better buys, even maybe Mim than Pups. I could be completely wrong. I just feel like the Pups community, there's just too many chiefs and not enough Indians. If you kind of get my drift, there's just like everyone there seems to be, there's not like aligned at all. Everyone's kind of doing their own thing. Meanwhile, you got places like, Billy and Mim and Gizmo, for instance, with Nest, kind of, who the leaders are, and you kind of respect that. And then you kind of, you use that for momentum rather than Pups. It's just like everyone everywhere, and they all got opinions. So different opinions. But yeah, so yeah, Bitcoin is Truth is here. Abstract, Vader Time, Satoshi Nakamoto. K99 says, let's go get hype. OnePlus ad is here. He said, Bitcoin loading new all-time highs. I agree. Chips and Dip is here. Shout out to Chips and Dip. Barrio. He says, Pay AI and Daydreams. Yes, they are two huge ones right now. Pay AI sitting at, let me give us a quick refresh, but sitting at around $48 million market cap. Oh no, it's at a $56 million market cap. This thing is exploding this morning, up 13%. Absolutely crazy. And then
Dude.
Daydreams sitting at 16 million, up 11% in the hour.
The thing about Pay AI that's absolutely crazy is that it's had runs before because it was a part of the AI meta, but it was that I think it might have been a Believe token or something before, but it launched on something, one of those
Pump?
launch pad. Oh, is that what it says? Pump there? Okay, maybe
Yeah, it's a
maybe
little
Pump.
pill. Yeah.
Yeah, and maybe that's why they're going through the migration because they want to do their own LP. But I saw that token go from like 2 million to 10, back to like 3 to like 15, and then back to like 3. And it's like, it's like hard to hold in this space because you see like no one holds very long in Solana. But
Yeah.
the people that like believed in this token when it was like sub 1 million, dude, congratulations to you guys because this thing looks like it's going higher.
Yeah, this could be $1 billion market cap by the end of this year. Honestly, I mean, this thing has just been on a takeoff lift here, and every dip has been bought. Right, you can't be in a bull market unless you can buy a dip and make money. And it seems like every time they buy a dip, they do make money here. So we'll see. Moving along though, myself said, Ken, I can see alts topping. Oh, we read this one already. He's a Bitcoin top 21. Yep. Barrio says agent to agent commerce is the future. X402 for robots, not for us. I don't know. I think it's about us. Courtney Johnson's here. Shout out to Courtney Johnson. Stan, we got your super chat already, but then you did have another question. Make sure I get to this. He said Lou mentions Omnity has a swap. Yes, it's Rich Swap. Is there swap there? He said, will the channel know the name of the swap? Yeah, it's actually in the show notes of that episode as well. I think it's richswap.io, but I'm not 100% sure. But I did make sure. Okay, I did make sure that I did put it in the show notes for you to go check it out. It's Runes of Runes, all in ICP. They do have some Bob Bodily runes, right, from Bob's computer.
Yeah, so I think hey, he has like 20 little nodes running on that computer. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, so they're like, I think like Odin Dog and stuff, some of the early successful ones, right? So
yeah. He said the singularity is when man merges with AI. I would never give my mind over that system. Yeah, I'll do it tomorrow. Let me be. I want to be the first 5. I don't even care. Like I think if it works correctly, you're limitless. You open your brain up 100%. Whereas they say we only use like 20% of our brains. Could you imagine? Even if I get like a weak head start on everyone else, dude, I would be, I would be the best. I'm just kidding. Stan says, will Hex win if Richard Hart decides to pump PulseChain? Yeah, Hex, PLS, all that crap's going to the moon. If he puts $4 billion of Ethereum into that thing, I mean, it could absolutely go. But it could go ballistic. And the people say like Richard Hart owns 90% of the PulseChain coins. He owns like 90% of the Hex. I don't know if any of that's true. But these market caps are very deceiving when you see PulseChain at 500 million, because I think Richard Hart owns like 70% of the coins or some crazy number. So like he could come into the market and potentially he could send it astronomically 100x. I mean, he made Hex went 10,000x. If you bought Hex in October of 2020, you had 10,000x if you would have waited to sell until 2022. I mean, every dollar was $10,000.
Did you do sacrifices? You didn't do any of those, right?
No, I didn't do it. I wanted to. I just didn't want to give out $5,000 ETH because that's what the time was there. And we got Dream Baked is here. Stan is here. Stan says Zcash has a run because privacy in their tokenomics. Litecoin has privacy with Mumble Wumble, right? I think it's called, and similar tokenomics. Chances LTC will explode. I'm not very bullish on LTC. Are you?
No, other than like it's just like an aging asset that will probably go up with time, but unless they do something exciting, which once everything goes more mainstream, more and more mainstream, there's more of a chance that they do something. You know what I mean? Just because it's like, hey, look, we're established. Let's do something. I don't know, but as of right now, no, not for this cycle. It's a slow mover.
Yeah. BB says, "What's RH cooking?" Richard Hart's always cooking something, dude. I truly believe that. And he says, "I think RH will send it slowly, but one jack." Yeah, I think so too. I don't think he's going to do it all at once. I do think he's going to send the whole 4 billion of the sacrifice coins in there, but we'll see. And then Big Perm says, "Tap Protocol had 402 infrastructure built out since 2023." And now, no, that's a lie. And
No.
the result is that's a lie. we
Well,
know Benny. We know that that's not true.
Well, I don't know about like the x402 stuff. Maybe he did, like he just didn't talk about it because no one cared, at the time. But nevertheless, it was too early if he did have it, and I just don't remember ever seeing that. Like
I've
on my
never seen any
timeline.
tweets about it or anything. Yeah, I don't think that's true. I think that's a lot of pushed in junk, but we'll see. We'll see. But it's time for us to kind of get into our next segment here, and we are lucky enough every single Monday to have the great Jeff from Merlin Chain. If you didn't see over the weekend, Merlin Chain went to almost $1. It was the absolute craziest thing ever because I was sitting at my computer and I did a tweet on it because it went to 50 cents. And I look at it again, it's like 80 cents. I look at it again, it's like 88 cents. And I was like, what is going on? And then Jeff comes out and makes a tweet and he says, "Yo, just so you guys know, it's cheaper on the dexes than it is on the sexes." And that's when things start to normalize again. But it was some of the craziest price action I've ever seen.
How are you always catching that? Like, what time was it?
It was yesterday. No, was Saturday.
Saturday.
I
You told me
get to
Saturday.
my computer. I don't know. I usually spend about 2 hours every night on my computer, just kind of going over.
Was it
stuff.
late though,
It was just
or
happening. It was probably like 9 a.m. for Jeff, but it was like probably like 9 p.m. for me.
okay? Gotcha.
Yep. But without further ado, let's bring him in. Jeff, welcome back to OnChain Revolution. Thanks so much for being here, sir.
Yeah. Hi guys. What's up?
How you
What's up, man?
doing? Do you have a long weekend?
Yeah, I heard what she's talking about, and yeah, it's a pretty lots of things happen. I saw the comment about x402. Yeah, I've been studying that for the whole weekend, and the price difference. Still trying to figure out what's going on because it's just like abnormal. Like we don't want to see that because
Yeah.
there's difference between different exchanges and there are lots of things to arbitrage. So I actually woke up like really early that day. I think it was like 9 a.m. for me, but it's like 9 p.m. for Eastern time. So yeah, I call the dev team of the bridge trying to figure out if the liquidity was enough. We bridge some. We're trying to do the arbitrage. Buy some on OKX and sell some on Pancake because the price difference is just. Some people think it's a good thing, but for us, I don't think it's a good thing because many retail users they just don't understand. They just keep buying, and eventually they lose money to to the market makers, which I think it's right because market makers have to make sure the price is stable. If they don't do that, you see like $2 on Maxi, you see $1 on Bybit, half a dollar on OKX. It's just not bad. Like it's just not good. So yeah. I still trying to figure out what's going on. But yeah, I think Kraken was influenced because Kraken is the only exchange using the BSC, and the price on BSC is crazy too. I don't know if Kraken was like influenced. Probably the other ones, the users are buying there to make the BSC pancake swap price going up. But who knows? I don't think there's some story behind it, but I don't know what's going on. Yeah, and lots of things happening with 402. So we're doing lots of research. We had a whole day meetings, calls with the dev team, and I think it's a pretty cool idea. And yeah, we can dig into that later.
Yeah. So that's more of a stressful situation actually for like the home base whenever like there's a big arbitrage like that, right? And so you go into kind of like team mode, say, hey, let's figure out what's going on. You go through your standard kind of protocol of how to solve that kind of issue, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's just a start. But I mean, we can talk more about this, if you guys want. Because before, if you're buying something on like I don't know eBay, Amazon, or in Asia, in Japan, in Singapore, in China, the different websites, right? You need to use like different stuff, like Stripe, PayPal, Google Pay, like all kinds of different things to pay, and it's not standardized. And also, people are wondering. So, for example, I talked to many builders. They're saying like in Web2, they're saying I asked ChatGPT, what should I buy for my dad for Father's Day, and ChatGPT gives lots of stuff, and I ask what should I buy for my girlfriend's birthday, and lots of stuff. But in the future, it's definitely be like this. So like, okay, so here's my friends and families birthday, and make sure buy one thing for them, just deliver to this address before their birthday, because sometimes we just forget about our friends' birthday and important days, and just buy stuff. So for example, for my dad, buy something under $200. For my girlfriend, buy something under $2,000. But yeah, just like buy stuff by your choice, and just deliver to them. But now AI cannot do that, because AI cannot control your PayPal, cannot control your bank account, and also even you can control your bank, your credit cards. It's just very hard for them to buy stuff from different sites. But with HTTP 402, AI actually can do that, because it's standardized. And also, if you check on their 402 scan, somehow it looks like all-in-all scan. Somehow it's like there's a explorer that with all kinds of protocols, APIs, facilitators, who are trading using that API for different purpose. So it's not hidden in different chains explorer. It's right there. And so I think right now it's just start, but just think about things that AI can do for you. For example, on Merlin Wizard, you can have agent doing trades for you. But in the future, it's definitely going to be like, okay, so just manage my portfolio. Buy some when it's low, sell some when it's high, using strategy that is in my preference. So I don't like risk. So just buy some when Bitcoin is low, sell some when Bitcoin is high, and just do this for me. And with 402, with all these kind of infras and APIs, it can do for you, and it can be very, very transparent, and also it can be compatible with different protocols. So all in all, I think it's a pretty good thing, and it's a very good start. And also Binance, OKX, and Coinbase, they are all in for that. I call some friends, in their wallet team and DeFi team. All of them are going hard on this. So probably this is the first time that these people who are enemies or competitors are all on the same thing, because OKX was on inscriptions and ordinals, but Binance and Coinbase don't give a crap. And for some other stuff, some people care, some people don't care. But for this, all major players, they actually care. So yeah, that's just my opinion on this protocol.
Yeah, I actually have a question. Maybe you can answer. So, will this allow direct deposits? Like, let's just say I have 4,000 employees and I want to pay them all with stablecoins. Will x402 actually help me with that? Would that be able to like monthly just pay these employees?
Yeah. I mean, before you can still do that with like smart contract.
Stream.
Yeah, but with that, it's more like every company will have the same standard, and also because I checked some document about privacy thing, so this can be private as well, because we are doing this somehow in our company to pay salary. But what the problem is, if we from our accounts, if we wire money to different addresses on chain, people will see each other's salary, which is bad. Like like why is Shizzy making 10K, but Yagobi is only making 6K? They're basically doing the same thing. So yeah, so I think 402 is definitely gonna help that. But just not go too far from here, because I think it's just like a simple start. I think that will stay with us for a long time.
Gotcha. Okay, so basically you're saying this is just the scratching the surface. Do you? We can move on after this though. I'm curious. Do you think are we like a year away from this being like an actual standard type of thing we see?
What do you mean?
X402, like actually businesses using it.
Yeah. I 100%, because it's HTTP protocol. All these big teams, VCs, companies, Coinbase is pushing this. So yeah, for sure.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, and my last question with this is, can you see the wizard? Actually, you guys maybe put it into the wizard eventually, where I can kind of use it while I'm messing with him.
You mean with 402 or the product?
X402 maybe integrated with the wizard?
Yeah, of course, 100%.
Ooh, we got a new play. Yeah, man, absolutely awesome.
All right, Jeff. So let's talk about Merlin Chain a bit. Okay, so obviously you got the Wizard, you have the BTC Fi. Are you guys still rocking and rolling with those two focuses? Is there another focus that you guys kind of put into the mix? What's going on there?
Yeah. So we're still pushing BTC Fi, of course. I think season 2 is going to be a more exciting. We have more strategies going on. And also because we did some DAT stuff in Q3, we're going much more harder. I think in Q4 with Merlin DAT, we're going to have at least 10 times more stuff, more news, more like catalysts coming up in Q4. Because in Q3 we kind of did it. We tried some different approaches. We talked to X stocks, on those stable stocks, different platforms, trying to tokenize some stocks with Merlin Bitcoin and Merlin token. So in Q4 we basically know what's going on. We know how to do this. So yeah, we have several different teams going on this. So yeah, I think in Q4 DATs tokenized stocks are still going to be one of the major topic in the market. I think with 4.2, AI is definitely going to be a new hot topic. That's why we are kind of putting more resources. That's like what I'm saying. To go with the flow. To play with the market. Because without 4.2, people don't really care about AI like anymore. In Q3, people never talk about AI, right? But right now with this protocol, AI can actually do business with AI. So imagine before, you are doing business with people, and then with AI XBT, you are doing business with AI, right? But right now we see a future that AI is doing business with AI. So you have a private investment manager, you have a private trader working for you, but that AI agent is doing business with other AI. So yeah, lots of things could happen. So I think AI is definitely on the table right now. Looking forward to what's going on in Q4.
Yeah, I was wondering too. Can X402 kind of help you with your Bitcoin DeFi as well? Is there anything set up with that can actually help you maybe integrate it a little bit more?
Yeah, it's mobile compatible, because before we're doing whatever kinds of BTC Fi with different chains, with different protocols. We have to go to the one by one. We have to integrate all protocols. We have to integrate all bridges. We have to integrate with everything, cross chain or chain abstraction. But so if we have one standard across different chains, that every builder, every DeFi protocol, every chain, every foundation, every exchanges, they're pushing that uni standard. And I think that's going to be much easier, because then we don't have to talk to anybody. We just integrate with that protocol and go on all chains.
Yeah, I mean, I love where this is heading. Okay, so I should have listened to you, I think, when we had you on about 4 weeks ago, after that big old bloody Friday, and just probably went on vacation for 2 weeks, because I feel like it was very up and down. So you were very right about that. You were saying, it's going to take the time for the market to rebound from that. Do you feel like we've had enough rebound time, or a little bit more? And also with the utility, for X402 stuff coming in, is memes going to slowly start to be obsolete, or will there always be attention for that?
Yeah, so two different questions. I think first, for the general market, I think we still need to wait for to about 10 days or even more, because the chart needs to be strong and stable, and also the volume, the liquidity needs to come back. I saw a news today after the October 11th. There's another date we need to remember. We have March 12th, we have May 19th, with all these days. But now we have to remember, yeah, after October 11th, I think there are 8.5 billion more stablecoins on chain. So that could explain, the liquidity is back. So yeah, I think we need, to keep, eye on the chart, on Bitcoin, on Ethereum for 10, 20 more days if it can strong. So for Bitcoin, for me, I think over 115 is good. If it can stay over 115, 114 for at least 10 to 20 days, I think that's good news. But for now, nobody can be sure. And also for the altcoin, for the meme market, I think I'm not saying 4.2 is going to be the thing, but I think the market needs like one thing that can get everybody focused, everybody like asking what's going on. Because before, last year we had the AI and pump fund, right? But now if you play the same game twice, I don't think that's going to happen. So if today we're still talking about pump fund or new version of pump fund, I don't think the game will change. Just like BRC20 and the Ruins, we have BRC20. Ruins is just a better version of BRC20, but it's not a big difference. So the same game, same people play twice, it's always bad in history. So so to me, if for two and some innovations coming up and can get everyone to participate, to focus on, I think that's going to be a good news for all the memes. But if it's still about floor meme, pump fund, virtuals, I don't think that could actually have a huge meme run in Q4.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. And on top of that, it does seem like X402 is the biggest innovation since DeFi. Do you think this X402 narrative, you kind of already said it a little bit, but do you think this X402 narrative can be as big as the DeFi narrative and kind of really send us into potentially a 3-4 months run that we haven't seen in a long time?
Technically, I think it's going to be much smaller if you just compare 402 to DeFi, because DeFi is a revolutionary change. It actually got me believing that crypto Web3 can actually happen. Before DeFi, I think Bitcoin is just Bitcoin. It's just Bitcoin and all the other whatever coin that is. But with DeFi, I actually think crypto can change the world. But for 402, I think it's much smaller. But like I said, I think you have to look at the potential behind that. Just like all these protocols, the HTTP. If you see all these HTTP protocol, happen in 1990s, the protocol itself is nothing. But the things built on this protocol, like Amazon, Google, Microsoft, Apple later, Facebook, and so it's a different thing, because 402 is just a protocol. But DeFi, like DEX, like Uniswap, like Aave, like Compound, like they're different things. So if you look at the concept itself, I think it's like a protocol. It's very small. But if you think about the things can be built on top of those, I think the space, the potential is much higher than DeFi, because we need more Web2 teams join. We need more AI builders to join, and it's not like, I think AI is much bigger than crypto. So yeah.
Yeah, I think that was a perfect answer. Like, you're right, though, because DeFi really changed the way people think about crypto. It's no longer these ICO scams anymore, but it was actually crypto being real stuff. But this new AI narrative and mixed in with micro payments could actually send us into the next wave of truly being something accepted by mainstream. Is that kind of what you're saying? You're saying basically this is going to be mainstream adoption now?
Yeah, and also people are imagining how AI can help the industry, can help the users, can help the builders. Before that, it's just imagination. But after that, because we see what ChatGPT, DeepSeek, like Sora, we see like all these OpenAI and Grok, what they can do, but it's not that connected to our real life yet. But if it's connected to financial aspect, I think it's gonna be different, because people buy stocks all the time, people buy gold, people buy crypto all the time. But if that can be changed first, I think AI can be really influential to the real world, like at the start.
Yeah, I actually kind of put this X402 so far, if it continually plays out, in the bucket of DeFi and NFTs, because like NFTs, people in the Web2 and banking, they see the use case for that. If you want to, I guess, tokenize property and stuff like that as well. Yeah. So, but X402 is something that was created a long time ago. It just didn't make logical sense to use it, because the bank transfer fees cost more than micropayments. So now, like, they see this, in my opinion, and they're like, wow, actually crypto can make this possible. And then from a business mind perspective, they're like, micropayments could be huge as long as the cost for doing it is way minimal. And that's what I think crypto brings to it. So
yeah, and also it's not a crypto standard. It's HTTP in protocol, so it's gonna be involved with Web2 companies as well. So yeah, like, I'm not trying to hype the concept. I'm just saying just be patient. Just pay more attention to this new stuff, like what we did with Ordinals. I still remember, like, in 2023 March, something like that. Like, I talked to some friends and they just like laugh at me, just printing money on Bitcoin. Yeah, all new concepts are kind of a joke at first, but yeah, we just need to study more.
Yeah. 100%. And yeah, I think this is huge for Merlin Chain because you guys have been building the Wizard for a long time, and now having this new technology, including, I mean, you guys are using DeFi. Now you can potentially use this x402. Where do you see Merlin Chain kind of expanding to over the next year? Do you see more going into the small payments, or really staying in the BitFi narrative?
I don't know. I can never predict. But I think our main focus is always about Bitcoin. So of course we'll push the Bitcoin narrative more. But like I said, the builder's best quality is to have an open mind. That's why when 402 came out, I basically spent all my 3 days. I think Friday, Saturday, Sunday, like all my time into this, checking all these new builders projects. Even if something unrelated to Bitcoin at all, I still think some of their mechanism or like products open my mind. But yeah, I think we can continue to talk about this in the next coming weeks. I think this will be there for a long time. So let's see what's going on.
Absolutely. All right, Jeff. Well, we know you're super busy, man. So just want to give you the mic one more time. Just kind of maybe give some last words before you head out.
Yeah. I don't know. I think the market is kind of getting better. So let's wait for a while. I think in the meantime, just like if you don't spend your money right now, you better spend your time, because if you don't spend your time now, when the market is actually getting much higher, you don't have time. Whoever makes money last year is the ones who study Pump Fund and Gen and the game, the AXBT, the virtuals in early days. Whoever come last, they're basically the ones who lose money. So yeah, my thing will be just right now is your last chance to spend more time before the market pumps.
Ooh, that's big. Thank you so much, Jeff, man. Really appreciate you. Looking forward to next week.
See you guys.
See you later.
Yeah, man, dude. I was already bullish on x402 going into today, especially with today's title and everything. I was looking at it this morning. I think I just 10x. Like seriously, like because we know Jeff. We know him personally, right? We've been friends with him for over 2 years now, and it's kind of like when his brain says, "Hey, you need to spend 3 days with this." That's huge. I mean, this isn't a guy who has time like me to sit there and research something for 3 days. This is somebody who's building a potentially $1 billion project in Merlin. So for him to spend 3 days in the x401 or x402, sorry, that's absolutely insane to me. Like, is that ringing a bell to you, or is that just me?
No,
just
it is
overreacting.
Okay, it is. And he's grown to even be in an even better kind of business mind, because he's even opened his mind even more. So for him to kind of get locked down and super serious about something like that's definitely a sign for sure. And I think he's right though. It's like the people that were studying AI stuff heading, like, let's say last October, right? If you are getting in, some of these AI projects now or early November, you were able to sell early December in a really good position, right? So it right now it just comes down to doing the research, finding out who the winners are, who are the upcoming, potentials, and stuff like that. So it's an exciting time.
Yeah, 100%. I got some other stuff here. If that's cool,
Yeah.
to jump in. All right, it's a lot of different stuff. We're not going to be talking about 402 anymore, but it's really interesting. So we'll kind of get into the first one here, which is Hyperliquid integrated its HIP-3 protocol into the main user interface on October 25th, 26th, which is Saturday and Sunday, allowing direct trading on permissionless virtual DEX. What this actually did, though, was this let a couple places like Hyper Unit and Trade Perps to actually list Tesla and Nvidia, and now you can go over to Hyperliquid and go to this thing called HIP-3, and this will now show Tesla and Nvidia. You can actually go 10x long or 10x short on Hype or on Tesla and Nvidia now because of this new upgrade. Absolutely insane.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. I wonder how much market participation is going to go into that, right? Because for us, it's like the players over here know a lot about the assets that we mess with, but maybe they start to dabble a little bit here and there, and start to trade some of these tokenized stocks. But I mean, this is the future, you're going to see more and more of this, I believe, to where both markets eventually, start to really merge.
Yeah, and you're really going to see it when they decide to arbitrage this, right? When you see,
Yeah.
JP Morgan saying, "Okay, make sure you open your Hyperliquid because we can long on this side and short on this side, and that'll do is that'll keep the price back to movement, right?" So for them, they basically love this thing called hedging. So they can basically hedge when prices outrun each other. So if you're getting a price from the Oracle here, but you're getting it over here, potentially 3 pennies or 4 pennies even is enough for them to make a lot of money because their position sizes are so big. So I could definitely see something like that. I mean, I don't think it's going to be this year, but in the future, I think most big hedge funds and stuff like that, they're going to be at least scanning over here and making sure there's enough liquidity for them, because you will need a lot of liquidity, and it's just not there yet. But I think in the next couple months, years even, you might actually see more liquidity on something like Hyperliquid, which is decentralized, than potentially like an E-Trade or something at night when the markets are closed.
Yeah, so that increases two things, TVL and volume.
Yeah.
And so we're going to see that increased over the years pretty dramatically, I think.
Yeah, for sure. Really dramatically. All right. Any last words on this? I think it's pretty massive, right?
Yeah, and then also I think they do this is where people can start staking, I think, their Hyperliquid and start creating their basically your own perps decks if you want. But you obviously have to have liquidity or capital to do so, because it takes 100,000 hype tokens to be a part of this.
Yep, and that's what these guys did. Hyper Unit and Trade Perps. These are two of the ones that are building that have already locked in, and that's how they put them up here. So there'll be a category called HIP3. You can go to Hyperliquid normal, but you'll be able to trade off these perp dexes right here that are actually doing it in the back end. These are the ones that are adding the liquidity, but Hyperliquid's going to actually show them, which is pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
All right, next thing here is IBM unveils Digital Asset Haven, a full stack platform for institutions to manage digital assets across 40 blockchains. IBM is merging its enterprise grade hardware, which I thought was weird, Z and Linux One. So Linux One, they're kind of using as software, with DFIN's MPC wallet tech to create a secure, compliant hub for banks and governments. IBM is combining the enterprise grade hardware with the DFIN's manufacturer to launch a secure platform. Basically, it automates custody, routing, and settlement across 40 blockchains, which is insane to me. It's a lot of blockchains. Add programmable multi-party approvals, built in KYC and AML, so you will have to deal with that, and cold plus quantum safe key storage. I thought that was absolutely huge. A national bank could use IBM Digital Asset Haven to issue a tokenized bond across multi-blockchains. Using Defense MPC tech, it creates secure wallets and enforces compliance with multi-party. The bond launches on ETH with records mirrored on a private Hyperledger network. Cold storage via IBM's offline signing orchestrature and built-in KYC, keeping it fully compliant and ready. What do you think about this? IBM, we do know the government owns quite a big portion of IBM, which I thought was crazy too, but that could be why they're going full crypto here.
Okay, this is not a slight at like the Web3 builder natives builder ecosystem, but this is what happens when you have multiple billions of dollars worth of a company that is already top-notch security type situations for regular internet. I mean, you're like, they're going to like triple guard as much as they can everything to make these financial institutions feel like they're safe, right? And that's the difference in my opinion. And this, to me, everything you said to me, and I gotta look deeper into it, but it made me feel confident about what they're building.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Now, is it gonna be a centralized approach? Yes, probably. I know they had like a MPC type of network that they're trying to make it sound a little bit decentralized, but at the end of the day, the banks don't give a crap if they make this decentralized or not. They just want it to be safe and never have a hack. And that's IBM's goal going to be from day one, to have like, you got to get through like probably 10 layers of security before you can even approach them. You know what I mean? And we're talking about like IBM, who else? Google will practice this way. And it's a big, difference because, Web3, yes, there's its own kind of native languages and approaches to things, but like these guys, they've been securing things forever, right? So I don't know, man. Like I just think it's, and the institutions wouldn't go into this unless they felt like extremely safe.
Yeah, and they're building the foundation for crypto right now, right? They're building the infrastructure that wasn't really there for TradFi to use. We have our own infrastructure, but it's decentralized. They don't like that. They like very centralized models. If they make a mistake with their USDC and send it to the wrong address, they want to be able to freeze that and then resend it to the new address, disregarding that previous payment. Right? They want full control over everything in the sense of bank to bank or bank to person. They want to be in control of it, and that's what this is, in my opinion. This is full control, but it is infrastructure that will allow them to kind of move from the outdated system that they're on, the Swift bullshit, into crypto rails, which potentially could save them millions, potentially billions of dollars a year.
Yeah, it's because it's way cheaper, right? Now IBM obviously is going to make out like a fat cow on this. I'm sure if they're going to be the only provider for this, right? They're creating it. They probably jumped at that. But yeah, so that's kind of what I think about it. I just think that like the banks are like, if we're going to get involved with this, we need something that's going to be like ironclad.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. And the biggest thing here is, will they get a government contract? Is that what IBM's trying to do here?
I mean, it wouldn't be the first time.
100%. 100%. All right, let's move along though. So at ApeFest over the weekend, Yuga Labs announced their metaverse project, Otherside. We've been hearing about this for a long time, which will officially launch on November 12th. So this is the big thing they just revealed. Yuga Labs has revealed a new partnership with Amazon Games for an avatar collection called Box and Muss that will be sold on the Amazon website. Hold on, wait, there's more. Amazon Games is actively helping build and publish Otherside, not just partnering with promotion. So this is absolutely massive because I was actually playing an Amazon game called New World probably like a couple months ago. It was like an RPG MMO, and it was phenomenal. Like it competes with World of Warcraft style, in my opinion. But now they're potentially helping Yuga Labs with this, and this is Amazon we're talking about here. Absolutely huge.
Yeah, I mean, when this administration came in, basically gave all of these Web2 companies the green light and said, hey, you don't have to worry about like all this stuff. Like it's, we're going to make the regulatory infrastructure. It's going to be friendly to builders. You guys don't have to worry about anything over your back. We're going to get the financial institutions to adopt it, that's the hardest part, first of all. The bank, and that's why a lot of these Web2 companies realized that it wasn't just them fighting the SEC. The SEC was being lobbied by the banks, I'm sure. And so anyways, and now you got Amazon saying, and this is the kind of stuff Amazon does in Web2. They're like, this is hot, or there's a lot of potential here. Let's throw some money at this. It could turn into something huge. And I'm sure the ape community is very excited about it.
Yeah, for sure. I think this is the biggest thing that ever happened to the apes, in my opinion. You're gonna have a game built by Amazon. I mean, sky's the limit. I mean, Amazon Game, I think Jeff Bezos poured about $100 million into the original investment in the Amazon Games, hiring the best developers and stuff like that. That should say a lot, right? Because Amazon Games, they went out into people building World of Warcraft. They went out to the people building Grand Theft Auto, Rockstar, and hired them to be over there now to kind of build out their next gen games.
You just need one. You need one game to go absolutely viral, Fortnite style, or half of Fortnite style. Shoot. And if it's the apes or if it's another NFT project, then that changes things dramatically. And those NFTs will shoot up big time.
Yep. Another thing they announced there, Black Clouds partnered with Board Trading Company at ApeFest Vegas, powering real-time ApeCoin and ApeChain payments via Zeus Pay for tickets, merch, creator fees. So now, not only are they going to have Otherside, but they're going to have this Black Clouds partnership inside the game. So you'll be able to use Zeus Pay I'm not really sure what Zeus Pay is. I gotta look into it for tickets, merch, and creator transactions. Pretty big.
Yeah. I think this is huge for them, right? So they seem to be doing the right things recently. I know that they've been able to sustain, right? But I'm sure that they were probably trying to figure out if they wanted to continue, could continue
Yeah.
multiple different times. But now it seems like they're partnering with the right people. I mean, they're very corporate structured, by the way.
Oh yeah.
The Bored Ape company, and so this is good for them, right? So it's turning into like that cult culture thing that like maybe didn't, it was forced in the beginning. Now it seems like it might be kind of like, okay, we can build this into something that's cool, something like Supreme clothing or something, you know, down the line, that it's just people feel cool to have an ape or have a ape shirt again. I remember those ape shirts were actually kind of popular for a little bit.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll become popular again.
We'll see. We'll see. Is the final thing from the Bored Ape. So they're building a Bored Ape Yacht Clubhouse. It's a real world extension for the BAYC community, essentially a physical version of what Bored Ape Yacht Club presents online. So I looked into this a little bit. This is what this is. They're going to be doing these pop-up shops, very similar to, you know, the Halloween store, right? So they're basically pop-up shops, and it's going to be like in New York for 3 weeks. And you, as a normal person, you want to go work there for the day, you can go take your laptop and you can get work done around, about Bored Ape community members and stuff like that. Then they're going to go to Ohio and Florida for 3 weeks and California for 3 weeks. So you just got to check the schedule of where this thing is going to be, but it's going to be all over the country. And they said even in Europe too, they might, if this is something that actually breaks out, you might see these actually get places and stay there for good. But at first it's going to be these 3 week type of conventions where you can go there any time of the day, 24 hours a day, go in there and find like-minded people to kind of make friends.
Do you have to have an ape to get in or anything? So it's
Nope.
just more of like an event that, hey, if you want to learn more, we can teach you about like what this culture is about. That's cool.
Yeah. It's like a WeWork. It's like a you can go there and with your team and really talk to people who are really in depth, because they'll have team members there from the Bored Apes team there as well. You can go in and kind of have conversations with and kind of break, kind of learn from them as well, and maybe potentially even build on ApeChain.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
All right, but then the Pudgy Penguins were like, all right, hold my beer, because they announced a partnership with DreamWorks Animation Kung Fu Panda IP, teasing the integration of its penguin characters in the Kung Fu Panda universe. I dug deeper though, and it says pandas are teaming up for co-branded merch and digital collectibles. No movie plans yet, but expanding both brands through toys and online content. But it did say, do not, push out the idea of maybe Abster being inside of the next Kung Fu Panda movie that is slated for 2027. It's not announced, but it said, don't be shocked if you see a penguin.
So it's happening. It's happening. Yeah, like, I mean, not shocked that this is a headline and that they're continually doing huge things for their brand.
Yeah.
But man, those two announcements just now with Amazon in the Bored Ape group, and then I mean Pudgy and DreamWorks. I mean, how huge would that be if Abster's in the next movie or whatever? First of all, for that meme coin, and then secondly, just the collection itself. So this is where I think value really gets to the possibilities of how high can you go. You know what I mean? Because now, I mean, if you think about like the Fortnite characters and how much people spend on those skins and all those things, and now you say, okay, Pudgy's already in Walmart, but if you get it in a movie, then kids watch that, and all these things, and so Amazon Games with the other side. I mean, we're hitting that next level of IP growth and adoption. So let's see where this goes.
Could you imagine though too? You maybe you get a penguin inside the movie, and then you get a spinoff for that character by DreamWorks, because DreamWorks already knows that the entire crypto community is going to be in line to see that movie. You know what I mean? Like, and if you bring it to kids, I mean, my kid has a million plushies. I mean, we have bags and bags of plushies. I mean, I'm sure that you're gonna get. I'm eventually gonna walk in the house one day and there's gonna be a penguin plushie. And I'm gonna be like, you know what this is? And they're gonna have no idea.
Yeah. Well, I mean, a little bit kind of like the Angry Bird situation, except for they kind of stuck with their own IP. But like, I think it's smarter to collab with like an existing IP like Kung Fu Panda, or you know, and I'm sure that won't be the last. There'll be other opportunities too. So, yeah, I think that Pudgy has a bright future. The Apes one, I do think that they need to kind of prove, like, with this game coming out, because like, I mean, of course they're still established and stuff, but like if they can get that game adopted and like viral and people love to play it, it's all she wrote.
I mean, I think they will. I mean, like I said, I played New World for like 6 months. It's an RPG on like MMO, which is a multi-mass player game. It's very similar to what Otherside's trying to do. You go on quests with your friends. You can go up there. I can hit my buddies up on Friday night. Yo, hop in. Let's take on this dungeon. Imagine doing that. The same exact technology. I mean, it's their game. New World is their game. All they got to do is just say, here, this is what we've already built. We're going to just change the characters and change the landscape. I mean, that's all you got to do. The infrastructure's already there. I think this is going to be bigger than anyone thinks, because not only are you taking, for the first time ever, you're taking the people that play WoW and the people play that New World and taking the crypto crazies and kind of putting them together in one spot.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting to see both of these brands and what they do.
100. Yeah, man. All right. So China's largest fintech company, Ant Group, just filed to multiple crypto trademarks, and one of them being Antcoin. Could we expect Ant Group to come out with a coin here, or are they just doing this so nobody else does it?
Well, it's funny that you say that, because I peek over in the trenches and there was an Ant coin that was launched on For Me. I don't think it was theirs. I don't think they would use For Me. Maybe they would. Who knows? But if that's the case, then crazy. Yeah,
he's buying it right now.
Oh my God, it's that $8.3 million market cap.
Oh my God, what if that's it?
What? Hold on, this might not be the real deal. Oh, kind of. I don't know. But anyways, maybe that is it. I don't know. I gotta do further research. But why else would they trademark it, right?
I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I imagine that's probably why. Maybe they're gonna drop something.
Yep. And the final thing is from Magic Eden. They said, we've made a difficult decision to end the development of our new Launchpad and DEX build. So remember, guys, how we talked about Magic Eden having the Spark swap or Spark Launchpad. It used to be up here: trade, mint, create, swap, and play. So play actually replaced what was it said Bitcoin DeFi, and it's gone now because when their leading developer, and I think he says it in one of these articles here, if I can find it. I have a million up here. Here it is from Zed. He said, I want to share an update to the Bitcoin community. We've made the difficult decision to end the development of our new Launchpad and DEX built on Spark. The decision is solely driven by tough trade-offs we had to make as we are going all in and shifting resources to unrelated projects that will be announced soon. We remain huge believers in Spark technology, and the team are still planning to support the protocol. So I originally thought, hey, maybe they're planning to kind of go away from Spark and build on Arch. But businessman.eth actually reached out to me after I tweeted, because I tweeted that, and he said, no. He's like, Spark just stole Magic Eden's leading Spark developer. So what the leading guy on Magic Eden who was creating this actually left to go work with David Marcus' son Ethan on FlashNet. So he actually left Magic Eden. I guess he got a bigger deal with FlashNet, and Magic Eden said, without him, we can't continue. So they're actually no longer building for Bitcoin DeFi. They're actually going to be doing a lot more stuff with the NFT stuff, which actually makes sense for them, being they are the leaders, in my opinion, in NFTs.
I mean, I don't really blame them too much then if that was the true story, because
that's what Businessman told me.
Yeah, because I mean, if you try to replace that person and they're not as efficient, then you're screwed on that. So
yeah. And Businessman, he sent me the guy his message. He said, hey, I'm leaving Magic Eden today. Today's my last day at Magic Eden. So it's all true. He actually sent me proof, because I was like, because he didn't like my tweet about Magic Eden pivoting from Spark to Arch. And he was like, nah, dude, like that's not happening. So that was kind of crazy that like 30 seconds after my tweet, I get a DM from businessman.eth who is building UTXO.fund. This benefits UTXO.fund and Luminex because now we do know they will be a leader in launch pads right now and they'll be competing against each other. But it does seem like they work together a little bit as well because they do have the pools. So you'll be able to buy from this pool, buy from this pool. So, but how do you feel about UTXO.fund and Luminex now that Magic Eden's stepping out of the game?
So they obviously both have more opportunity now, but is Flashnet going to build something native as well? Because they got him over there now.
Well, I don't think they're going to launchpad game. I think they're trying to build the infrastructure for the payments, the payment rails. I mean, David Marcus keeps coming out and saying Spark is going to be the payment rails of Bitcoin.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, yeah, definitely more opportunity for UTXO Fund and Luminex. Now, I guess they probably feel better that Magic Eden's cut out because Magic Eden's branding trumps both. So it's kind of like you take the big dog out of the race. Now it's gonna get really competitive, I think, between the two.
Yeah, man. And then Magic Eden went full tilt with their new card packs. We were talking about this yesterday on the members only video, but this is something that is phenomenal. You can get Pokemon cards. You can get gold NFTs, gold pack of NFTs for $50, and you got another pack here for $415, a promo pack for $1,200. But the pools, I've been watching the pools. I mean, there's some really cards. I saw a Charizard here. Can't go back, but it's a $900 Charizard PSA 8 grade. Just went through, I think, a 99. So that was pretty massive. But people are pulling cards right now. How do you feel about Magic Eden kind of sticking in their lane now and staying full tilt on NFTs? And these packs are genius.
Honestly, as much as like the pivot was a letdown, I actually think this is smart. I think this is really smart. I think that they made a good business decision here to focus and put their resources on this. Even with the ordinal NFT packs or the NFT packs, right? That people are going to want to gamble a little bit with that. And maybe you hit like a huge NFT or something, right? And then you have the physical goods as well with the cards and stuff. So I think they made the right decision here.
Yeah, man, I love it. I love this decision. I think I love this. I think it's so cool. I haven't bought a pack yet, but I want to. But we will see. We will see. All right. I got some comments here before we get out of here. Or Doucher's here, my guy. He says all these side chains only exist for what they perceive, not being able to do Bitcoin. Now you can do most things on Bitcoin. Companies like UTXO.com are bringing Lightning RGB tech to bring even stables natively to Bitcoin. Excited to what will happen. Kind of bullish on 402. How can we have a meme on it? I mean, there's already been some. There hasn't been any on Bitcoin yet, though. But
no, not yet.
I guess he's calling for the top of Bitcoin here because he's saying take profits on Bitcoin, broskies. And he says, "Sup, Jeff? Always so late for you over here." Yeah, it's like you gotta remember, guys. When Jeff comes on our show, it's like he's like seconds from bed. I mean, honestly, like he's probably like he probably can't wait to get this done so he can go to sleep for the night.
Yeah, that's why after we get through that first 20 minutes, we try to kind of let him go because we know that he's about to probably pass out, especially after a long weekend that he's had. But I do want to share something real quick.
Yeah.
And it is from the CEO of Sats Terminal, actually, is doing a giveaway. So I want you guys to know about this in case you want to be in it. Stan, which we have him on the show on Wednesdays. We try to have him on every Wednesday, but sometimes he's so busy he can't make it. He posted this. It says unreleased treasure. Why am I having a hard time saying that? Trezor Safe 7 giveaway. Picked it up at Trezor headquarters and given it away to community. How to enter. Subscribe to his page. So go follow him on X. And it says subscribe to the Sats Terminal page. So you got to follow them and then retweet the post. He's doing a randomization at 10 a.m. Eastern Wednesday. So I'll put his at here in the chat if you guys are interested in that. I just wanted to kind of give that some light because hey, you can win a free unreleased Trezor 7.
Yeah. Well, that's huge. Get it. Stan will be on the show this week, or
I'm not sure, but like he messaged me this information, so I think he's back home probably at his headquarters, so he'll probably make it, but I'll get confirmation on that.
Sounds good. Big Perm says, sorry, fam. I'm not trying to hijack other project streams. I just want to drop that Benny and Tapped and Track I get overlooked, but they ahead of the game. we're too early. Their infrastructure is ready. Yeah, I know. I just can't. I don't know. I can't get bullish on them anymore. I feel like it's just been. What do you think? I think you have a better opinion on this than I do.
I mean, until like at least the Bitcoin ecosystem gets a lot of attention, like Tap is kind of down the line on that, right? So it's hard. I think that's why you have a hard time thinking in that way. It's like, you know, first let's get the alt market first. Let's get, you know, he'd say like there's so much stuff that's right in your face. The x402 stuff right now that's like, you know, Pay AI, Dreams, all these things and so like Tap is just so far down that line. And we have to get to the Bitcoin ecosystem before getting to Tap, in my opinion. So I think that's why it's harder.
Yeah, I think Tap can do well in the back end of the bull run, right? I don't think
everything's hot already. Yeah,
for sure. Patty Poo says great news. I have 3 other line lands. Patty Poo's on top of it, bro. I looked at the other side lands over the weekend because I was like, hey, I might actually play this. It might be worth having a land. But they're going pretty high. They're going for like 2 ETH or something. I mean, maybe 3 ETH. But it could be huge. It probably ran up after the big news about Amazon, though. Honestly, you probably could have got one for a lot cheaper than that prior. Stan says big perm. Any opinion on Tap and Track? And that is all the comments there, guys. And that's our queue. We got nothing left here, but we appreciate. We have 270. I feel so good about today's numbers, even though it's not where I want to be. But 275 people live right now. Absolutely amazing. Not to mention everyone that we don't see on Kick, Rumble, Abstract. There's plenty of you guys over there as well. Appreciate you guys. And then Spotify later. Absolutely amazing show today, man.
Absolutely, man. Great job for you as well. And you know, just the community, you know, putting the questions in there and then having Jeff on. It was just a great show. I'm glad that the x402 stuff kind of came out too. We needed something like that, right? And so we appreciate each and every one of you guys for watching us and supporting us. Without you guys, we couldn't do this. But also without our partners, we couldn't do it. So if you could check them out, we would greatly appreciate it. Sats Terminal is the DEX aggregator swap for the entire Bitcoin ecosystem. If you're looking to swap for Bitcoin runes, alkanes, and now Spark tokens, you got to do it at satsterminal.com. Why? Because they aggregate from everybody. They're going to find the best and most liquid prices for these tokens, but most specifically the Spark tokens, right? Once those launch pads really start to launch and things like that, you're going to be able to go to one place, and that's satsterminal.com, to buy all those tokens. You'll also earn Amber points that are going to go towards a give back for early adopters. So make sure you connect your wallet to satsterminal.com at the bare minimum, because you'll get a bonus of Amber points there. And then every swap you make, you will get more Amber points. Also, they have an amazing borrow against your Bitcoin product there. They partnered with the 2 largest facilitators in terms of earning against your Bitcoin, or borrowing against your Bitcoin, getting stables against them in Aave and Morpho. So check it out. You don't want to sell your Bitcoin, especially right now as it's going up. That's not financial advice, but I think we all know where it's probably going to head by the end of this year or early next year. But this is an option for you. So head over to satsterminal.com, check it out, and let us know what you think. And then Emblem Vault is the interoperability layer for the Bitcoin ecosystem. If you're looking to jump your Bitcoin ordinals or Bitcoin NFTs like counterparty NFTs for Pepes, etc., you got to use Emblem Vault to do it. You can actually take your Taproot Wizard, which is a ordinals collection, over to Gandhi, which is the largest borrowing and lending platform on Ethereum against NFTs. You can take a loan out against it right now. Also, they're going to be opening this up to other chains as well. And Solana is going to be a part of that. And speaking of Solana, they have the best AI product in the Solana ecosystem with Agent AI, agenthustle.ai. If you go to agenthustle.ai, you can actually use them for free. There's a free subscription, but you get limited prompts with that. But you can ask Hustle to find you a couple of solid plays in the Solana ecosystem. He'll bring back a couple of options and let you know why he got those options back for you. And then there's a conditional trading engine built inside of Agent Hustle, so you can set buy and limit orders for meme coins or whatever in the Solana ecosystem. He'll take care of that on your behalf as well. You get more prompts as you move up in subscription, and you can pay with the Hustle token, which is the single token that powers the entire ecosystem, and you'll get a discount there. There's also another product called Migrate.fun, and it is getting a lot of attention still because it's the leading product for migrations in Solana. If you launched on Pump Fund or Believe or Bonk and you want to migrate to the other launchpad, or if you want to manage your own LP, you got to use migrate.fund. They already finished their first cohort of, I believe, 14 teams. Everything went really smooth. But they're starting up their second cohort, and they have some big names like Pay AIs in that migration. So definitely check them out if you're interested. Go to migrate.fund to find any frequently asked questions, or just reach out to the team if you have any questions about the next available spot in their next cohort. And then head over to emblem.vision to learn about all the products I broke down in their ecosystem. And then Merlin Chain is uniting Bitcoin strength through the power of AI with their Wizard version 2.0. If you have Merlin Bitcoin in your Merlin wallet, you can actually trade for tokens outside of the ecosystem like Solana and BNB. But you can also do stuff, of course, in the ecosystem. It can do DeFi functionalities like swap and stake on your behalf. And speaking of staking, they have a proof of stake security model, and you can participate in 3 ways. The first way is staking Bitcoin to earn more Bitcoin. The first staking vault that ended September 30th, they got 17% APR for their stakers. So amazing APR for staking Bitcoin. And then the second one, they're going to shoot for something similar, but you're guaranteed a range between 8 and 21%. And so that is filling up pretty quick. I think the max is like 150 Bitcoin in there. So you can check that out. It is locked until January 8th, I believe, of 2026. So about a 3-month locking period there. And then there's 2 ways to stake with Merlin Chain token, which is really hot as well right now. If you do the day-to-day, it's called the flexible, and you earn 15% APR, you can actually claim your rewards every single day. You can roll those up in a compound interest strategy, or you can just keep them in your wallet, or you can sell down, whatever you want to do with it. You can do that. And then also, if you do withdraw, though, there's a 7-day cooldown period in the flexible vault. And then the last one is the bonded vault, which is a 6-month lockup period. You earn 45% APR with this one, but you can claim your rewards daily as well and do a compound interest if you'd like. Same thing, you can keep it in your wallet, whatever you want to do. Head over to merlinchain.io to learn more today. Make sure you follow these guys on X as well, so you can stay updated with all of their updates, if they're constantly making huge moves. But we appreciate you guys checking out our partners, and yeah, that's it.
Yep. And shout out to Rolando coming in the last couple of minutes. Appreciate you, my friend, on WebDro. But if you guys have a few more minutes and wouldn't mind checking out our website, it's onchainrevolution.io. We have some of the best articles dating all the way back to 2023. If you know someone just entering the space, please send them our website. We really feel like it help them get started and code up to where we are today. If you brand new article just dropped last week, you definitely need to check this out. They're 3 to 4 minute reads. You can knock them out pretty quickly. You can go one by one and really get caught up on what has been going on in crypto. Let's just say you were out for the month, 2 months. Just check out our weekly articles, and you guys can get really into and understand what is going on. And on top of that, if you guys need a VPN, I was using Hyperliquid over the weekend. In order to use Hyperliquid, you need a VPN. I've been using the amazing Nord. Highly recommend it. I'm paying $3 a month. I'm locking it in for 2 years. Set it, forget it. You get an extra 3 months on top of that. Highly recommend you using a VPN, because this will allow you privacy. Privacy, especially in the US, is a right. You're allowed to, hide which websites you go to. You are allowed to do that, right? There's no reason to give these companies your IP address and let them know exactly where you're at. Don't do it. And especially when they geo-block you, like MEXC is my favorite on and off ramp. It really is, right? But I can't use it unless I, have a VPN, because they geo-block the US. But with a VPN, I put myself in Italy. I've been using Italy because it's probably the strongest connection, and that'll be something you have to figure out once you get in there. I was using, Switzerland for a while, El Salvador for a little while, but Italy seems to be the strongest. And on top of that, my TikTok is now a whole bunch of Italian people just doing cool stuff. I don't even know. It's just I like Italian TikTok way more than I like US TikTok. I don't know what it is, but you can put yourself anywhere in the world. You can put yourself in Ukraine or Russia and kind of you see what's going on those feeds. So highly recommend everything with a VPN. And on top of that, if you guys need merch, we have some of the best merch in all the crypto: hats, shirts, jacket, and much more. I have a hat coming this week. I'm really excited for it. And you guys can get yours all here. Puppets, so much more. We have to change this front page. Maybe add some Bitcoin stuff to here. But if you go to hoodies and stuff like that, you can kind of see all of our Bitcoin stuff. I actually have this hoodie, Chancellor on the Brink of Second Battle for Banks. This is what is written in the Genesis block by Satoshi himself. So yeah, that's why people think he's out on back, because the Chancellor and just great brand. And then Bitcoin hoodies. I really like these maroon style. Then we have, Dog and Psycho Hamster. We are all Social Nakamoto. Check them all out here at onchainrevolution.io. Remember, guys, we are live Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central, 8 a.m. Pacific, and 3 p.m. UTC. Check us out all week, guys. Until tomorrow.
Peace.
OnChain revolution roll call. Market recap. You not bullish enough, no. You're not bullish enough, no. Look at the price go. Bitcoin control. Why you still coping? Price action rolling. Don't fall for bear trap. Swapping indexes and putting it up in the sex. I can take profit right now. OnChain is where I be now. You can never look back. They don't want you to know. How did the market react? Fear and greed gotta adapt. Now we bridging the tokens and marching the network right now. You know how crazy we are. Nookies are savages now. They know how crazy we are. Chain abstraction, main attraction. OnChain revolution.